Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving headfirst into a tech story that definitely feels like classic Silicon Valley. It's this major collaboration between Sam Altman, the head of OpenAI, and Sir Jony Ive.
The design legend.
Mm.
iPhone, iMac, so much Apple history there.
Exactly. And they're teaming up to build, apparently, a revolutionary new AI device.
Yeah, and the stated mission is pretty bold. We've got a few sources on this, mostly pulling from recent reports, like one in the Times, trying to stitch together what little is actually known.
So our mission here in this deep dive is to unpack the why behind this, what's motivating them.
Uh-huh.
Dig into the details we do have about the device itself, and, well, some conflicting reports too.
Right, and look at past attempts, because this isn't the first time someone's tried this kind of thing.
And finally, see what the experts are saying. What are its real chances?
Because, this isn't just about some new gadget hitting the market. It feels bigger. It's really about questioning how we interact with tech, especially screens. Could a totally new AI interface change things fundamentally? It's a massive swing they're taking.
It really is. So, okay, where did this whole idea even start? It seems like Jony Ive is central to the origin story.
That's what the reports suggest, yeah. He stems from his own reflections, maybe even some guilt.
Guilt. About what?
Well, the sources mention him feeling the weight of the unintended consequences of smartphones, the very things he helped design.
Wow.
He apparently talked to Patrick Collison from Stripe about it, specifically the impact on, like, kids' attention spans.
Yeah.
And he reportedly said it weighed heavily on him, that some consequences were far from pleasant.
So the architect of the iPhone feels responsible for screen addiction, essentially. That definitely adds a layer of personal drive to this whole project, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And out of that concern comes the stated goal for this new device. It's aimed at weaning us off our screens.
Which, let's be honest, is a huge goal in today's world. We're all glued to them.
Totally. And they announced the partnership itself with apparently a highly stylized bromance video. So, definitely leaning into the hype from the start.
Hype is putting it mildly. Sam Altman's quote about it, what was it? He told people it's going to be the coolest piece of technology that the world will have ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, talk about setting expectations high.
God, stratospheric.
But interestingly, the way he's positioning it, according to reports anyway, is key. He's apparently been clear with staff. It's not designed to replace a smartphone.
Okay, that's important. So it's not the iPhone killer. What is it then? What's the niche?
He sees it as a third core device, something to sit alongside your phone and your computer.
A third device?
Yeah, he told Bloomberg something like, just like the smartphone didn't kill the laptop, this first device won't kill the smartphone. His words were, it is a totally new kind of thing.
A totally new kind of thing.
Okay.
Intriguing and very vague. But it implies something different, right? Not just another screen.
Exactly.
So what do we actually know about this mysterious new kind of thing? What might it look like based on these reports?
Well, the form factor details are still pretty murky. Some reports suggest it could sit on the desk or in a pocket.
Desk or pocket.
Yeah.
So maybe not something you wear constantly?
Potentially not. And its core capability sounds, frankly, incredible. It's described as being capable of being fully aware of a user's surroundings and life.
Fully aware, what does that mean in terms of hardware? What does it need?
Well, to do that kind of environmental sensing, the sources say it's likely to have a microphone and camera. It needs eyes and ears, essentially.
Right, to perceive the world around the user. Okay, now there was that leak, wasn't there, from Ming-Chi Kuo, the analyst, about a prototype Altman was seen with.
Yes, that leak gave a slightly more concrete image. Kuo suggested a prototype that was as compact and elegant as an iPod Shuffle.
iPod Shuffle. Wow, that's tiny. Minimalist. Which fits with the idea of it not having a screen, right?
Exactly. The reports confirm that it's expected to connect to phones and computers because it won't have its own screen.
Which makes sense if the goal is getting us off screens, but it also means it depends on other devices for, like, visual feedback or complex tasks.
Right, it's not standalone in that visual sense. But here's where things get a bit confusing, particularly around whether it's wearable or not. Kuhl's leak mentioned it could maybe hang around a user's neck.
Like a pendant, a smart necklace.
Sort of, yeah. But the main article immediately flags that this conflicts with reports suggesting Ive is not in favor of it being wearable.
Ah, so is it pocket desk? Is it neck worn? Are they maybe testing multiple ideas? The signals are definitely mixed right now.
They really are. And that uncertainty about the basic form factor, Well, it matters a lot when you look at who else has tried this, because let's face it, they aren't the first to try making a screen-light AI
Oh,
device.
definitely not. The most recent and maybe most cautionary example is the Humane AI pin.
Right. And ironically, developed by ex-Apple people, too.
Yeah. That was pitched as this intuitive wearable pin. Clip it on, talk to it, no screen needed. The future of interaction, supposedly.
Supposedly. But the article is blunt. It flopped hard when it actually shipped.
What went wrong? Why did it flop so badly?
Basically, it just didn't work well. Reports say it overheated constantly, it was slow, it couldn't handle basic requests reliably. Mark Lownley's review, quoted in the source, was absolutely scathing. He called it the worst product I've ever reviewed.
Oof, that's about as bad as it gets. And Humane itself.
Reportedly folded in February of this year, 2025. Didn't last long.
Wow. And the connection here is that Sam Altman had a front row seat to that whole disaster. He was Humane's single biggest investor.
Exactly. You have to assume that experience is weighing heavily on this new project. He saw firsthand what not to do.
You'd think so. And Joni Ive, he hasn't minced words about these competitors either, has he?
Not at all. He reportedly called both the AI pen and another attempt, the Rabbit R1, very poor products. His take was apparently that there's been an absence of new ways of thinking expressed in products recently. So he clearly thinks they failed to deliver anything genuinely innovative.
So he's basically saying, okay, those guys messed up. We know how to do this right, which adds quite a bit of pressure, doesn't it?
Immense pressure.
Yep.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. What about the business side? The ambition? Ben Wood, an analyst quoted in the piece, had an interesting thought on the potential business model.
What was that?
He suggested this device might not be a one-off purchase, but more like a piece of hardware that adds something tangible to your ChatGPT subscription. Almost like a device as a service.
Okay, that clicks. That connects directly to Altman's big vision for OpenAI, right? To be the core AI subscription for your life.
Precisely. A physical device could be that premium layer, the constant touch point for your OpenAI subscription, making it stickier, more valuable than just an app.
And speaking of ambition, Altman's goal for shipping this thing is, well, it's something else.
Yeah, the article quotes him wanting to ship 100 million of the devices faster than any company has ever shipped 100 million of something new before.
100 million units. Faster than the iPhone. Faster than anything.
That's the stated goal. It's incredibly aggressive. It really speaks volumes about how disruptive they believe this thing could be.
It's beyond ambitious, especially when you think about all the devices that have tried and failed to break the smartphone's hold or create a new must-have category, which leads us perfectly into what the analysts are saying, the skepticism.
Right. They're looking at this with, let's say, cautious optimism at best. And again, he says it's going to have to be something very, very special to even make a dent.
Why so skeptical?
Because smartphones aren't just powerful tools. They're deeply ingrained habits for billions. Changing that behavior is a monumental task.
That user inertia is maybe the biggest wall they face. But Carolina Milanese, another analyst mentioned, seems a bit more receptive to the core idea.
She does. She thinks that there is space for a third device. She finds the idea of a persistent agent in your ear versus on a screen potentially quite powerful.
Okay.
And she sees the value in that fully aware aspect, a device that can see what we see, take that in, and then answer questions. That capability resonates with her.
So she gets the concept, but she has doubts too, particularly about the form factor again.
Yes, she's quite pointed about it. She's skeptical if it's not wearable, if it's something you just leave on a desk. Her quote is pretty direct. If it was something to sit in the desk, I think they're going the wrong way. Because people forget.
That makes a lot of sense. Out of sight, out of mind. It needs to be part of your flow somehow.
Exactly. But then, if it is wearable, like that neck pendant idea, she raises other problems.
Like what?
Practical things, like how well can it really see what you see if it's hanging down on your chest? The angle's wrong.
True.
And the big one, privacy issues around a device seeing or listening too much. An always aware device that raises serious questions for the user and everyone around them.
Huge hurdles, both technically and socially. You know, stepping back, the article also puts this whole partnership in a kind of historical context that's, well, hard to miss.
Yeah, the parallels people are drawing, seeing it as a rerun of the early days of Apple.
With Altman being cast as Steve Jobs, the visionary pushing the product.
Pretty much. And that narrative gets fueled by some of the details reported, like the funding and the talent involved.
Right, like Laurene Powell Jobs, Steve Jobs' widow investing in Ive's design firm. IO.
And then OpenAI acquiring IO for a reported $6.5 billion. That's a massive investment.
Plus, the fact that IO was apparently luring some Apple's brightest stars away, bringing over people I've trusted.
It definitely looks like they're trying to assemble an external dream team, kind of like the original Mac team, maybe,
And,
outside the established giant.
and it's all happening within this frantic AI race, isn't it? Everyone's
Yeah,
scrambling to figure out what the next big AI interface will be.
absolutely. You've got Meta with their Ray-Ban glasses, which have seen some, modest success.
Mm.
Apple and Google are reportedly working on AI glasses too.